Here we are. It is coming up on episode 34. I was right the first time. And this is, we're doing the second of our show and tell series. And actually, there are only two in the show and tell series. So this will probably be the last show and tell. And all I mean by that is we're going to explore some of, in this particular episode, we're going to explore some of the terminology that would, first of all, that all jazz musicians, and actually, honestly, all musicians, once again, probably know most of these terms and what they elicit as far as a response from each instrumentalist. And because we all know what our role is when someone enunciates a certain word, a certain term, well, we can create an arrangement of a particular tune and an orchestration of that tune. Now, we only have two of us here. This is my friend Andy Blochowiak on the drums. He's going to be assisting me in walking through this terminology lexicon. And then we're going to give a final example of utilizing them all, or most of them. And I will be sort of talking while we're playing. So maybe we'll get a little video aid too. Maybe we'll get some, what do you call it? Graphics, thank you. To support where we are in the tune and what term we're actually sort of manifesting. So, at any rate, by the way, there's a few terminologies that everybody knows that musicians use, things like axe and gig and maybe jobber or something like that. Jobber refers to a musician who goes out and plays jobs, any job, any port in the storm, as long as he's making a couple of bucks. And then there's gig is short for engagement, gig. That's a job. Now it's become a gig economy. A lot of people are self-employed, and where it used to mean specifically a musical gig or a musical job, now it sort of means, I think, anything where someone's self-employed. At any rate, we have those kind of terms, like cat. Hey, we got my cat here, Andy, term for a musician. Okay, but we're going to concentrate on terms that actually involve a musical arrangement. So let's get started with those, and I'm going to show you how we would throw together an arrangement right on the bandstand, and it's simply because everybody knows these terms. I'll introduce them, though, one at a time, and then, like I said, we'll culminate with an arrangement that is based on what we put in to the form that we choose. So here we go. We are going to start off our little journey here with the introduction to a tune. Now, I've chosen a tune that everyone knows, I think. If anyone that's been to a wedding reception or dinner or something like that, it has heard Duke Ellington's Take the A Train. So now A Train has a written introduction, but I'm going to do an improvised introduction, and I'm going to direct my band. Once again, Andy is the band. And we're going to show you first what we might do on an introduction by employing three terms. The terms are vamp, turnaround, and pedal point. The pedal, well, let me start with the word vamp. Vamp simply means we're going to repeat something, a given figure of music or a given length of time, over and over again until cue. So our vamp is going to consist of, the repeated phrase that I've chosen is the turnaround of the tune. Now the turnaround usually occurs in a tune at the very end, the last two bars, often, if not a majority of the time. And those two bars we are going to use as an introduction. So this does go a little bit away from the standard introduction of... Okay, That's the standard introduction, but yeah, big band arrangement. But we're just going to do a pedal. Now the pedal is the bass player's responsibility. And if I say to the bass player, hey, just give me a 5 pedal on this introduction, he'll know exactly what to do, and this is what he'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So on 2 and 4. And the drummer might support him just like that. So now we've got 2 parts to, now actually I guess we have 3 parts to the introduction. Now the chords for the introduction are the turnaround chords, as I suggested. They are 1, 6, 2, 5, and then 1 again, and it repeats, i.e. a vamp till Q. So it could go like this: 1. But I suggested that, well, so that that's like the bass player is playing the same thing I'm playing. It's not quite as effective. So I'm going to say, hey, bass player, like I said, play the 2 and 4 on your pedal, and it'll sound like this then. Okay, over and over again. So then I'd say, yeah, and you know what, Andy, just play some time. So that's another thought. Andy knows that playing time doesn't mean solo. It doesn't mean play hits, specific rhythms. It simply means give us some time with a feeling of percussion underneath it. 1, 2, 3, and. And we're going to vamp that, which means repeat over again until the cue, but it keeps going until the cue. Somebody, a saxophone player, might solo. But eventually I'll cue it to the beginning of the tune, right there. So now the introduction has been finished, and we're on to the head. Head simply means the melody of the song. So, and I'm going to suggest to the band that, hey, when we hit the head, let's play in 2. And maybe I'll give you a hit someplace in the tune. So here's the head of Take the A Train, a very simple version. In 2, 2, 3, 4. Hear that 2. So here's the repeat of the A section. Success. Plus, I added a little kick in there. I didn't do it that great, but it's like this. Right? So now he's picked that up because I did it once, and then I would probably look at him and do the, hey, give me that hit again that you heard me play the first time. So now we've done those 2 A sections. In 2, we've added a kick or a hit. Those 2 words are kind of interchangeable. Just means a specific rhythm, possibly a little specific melody. But now we're at the bridge, and I'm going to have said, hey, you guys, we should swing the bridge. So when we get to the bridge, we're going to go into a 4/4 feeling, or what we call in 4. We were in 2, now we're in 4. That suggests to the bass player automatically that he's going to walk, or she's going to walk. So we have the let's do right from the kick, that okay. Same little part. I would go second time through the A section. And then we're gonna go to the bridge. Here it comes. 2 bars. So let's just discuss that for a second. That's a cue. It is called stop time. Nobody in the band would need me to tell them, hey, we're going to stop time there. I would just have to simply do this. And they'd know that I wanted to play some pickup notes. In other words, improvise some little introduction to my solo. We call those pickups. So we'll go right from the last A section in that same, right before the kick that I kind of messed up, so I can try it again. 2, 3, 4. And then we're at the beginning of the solo, which I would have said early on, and I'm going to review all this when we go through the whole tune. But right now we're just step writing our way through this terminology. So I would have said early on, hey, let's just swing the solos. Okay, well that just simply means we're going to play in 4/4 time. And Andy's going to be providing sort of a, not only a time feel for us, but he's also going to start to push things a little bit with the soloist. Again, these are all things that all jazz musicians just know that that's what they're supposed to do. So let's take it from the point, and actually, yeah, I'll just take it from the downbeat of the last turnaround, and that's where we're having a break time or a stop time, and I'm filling in with a little bit of an improvised phrase into the solo, and then we're going to be in 4/4 time. So somebody to stop playing. Andy, lay out. Because I'm changing the orchestration of this tune now. Solo guitar. I would have requested the bass player to also lay out. Changing the orchestration or instrumental group that's playing. So now I'm at the end of my solo, and I'm going to play a bass solo. Once again, the texture changes. Andy is playing even more underpinning what the soloist is doing, because the bass solo is kind of a featured event. Give him a whole chorus. Here's the B section. with, and now it's going to be trading fours with the drums. He knows it's coming because it always comes, almost always, after the bass solo. So there is a certain order of things, once again, that I have suggested before, all jazz musicians know. So their cues don't have to be verbal as much as just a head nod or a little wink or a point, it's yours. Or this, if you're doing fours with the drummer. So I'm going to take that bass solo from the last A section, and then we're going to trade fours with the drums. And again, we're just in that same recurring form over and over again. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Simply pointing at him. Back to the head out now. And head out simply means we're at the end of everyone's improvisation. We've all had our turn doing that, and now the head out is going to happen, which we're going to, for the sake of simplicity, do basically the same as we did on the way in, the head in. The only difference is at the end. And that's where we're going to add a tag ending. Now, this particular tune, as I think I may have said before, has a given ending. But I'm going to do something a little bit different just so I can use the word tag on you. And that is, a tag is simply stated the last perceivable phrase of music in the melody, in the written melody, that you can play 3 times. The 3 is sort of the general rule. We could go into a kind of vamp at the end of this tune like we did at the beginning. But like I said, maybe what we'll do, I tell you what, this is spontaneous, see? We'll tag the ending, and then we'll go back to the intro with the G pedal for a little while. An old dear friend and teacher of mine, Berkeley Fudge, used to say, hey, that ending, that's a whole nother tune. So if you go... over and over again, you keep doing that and you have people soloing over the top of it, you can go on for quite a long time, ad nausea, as they say. But we're just going to take it out after the tag. So let's see what happens. Maybe I'll try it a couple of different ways, actually. Maybe we'll do an unorthodox ending, a tag, plus the Ellington ending that is associated with this tune. That would be this, by the way, and I'm going to play this separately right now, just to play the tag. One time, 2 times, and 3 times. That's the Ellington ending. So here from the last A section, we're going to go into our endings, which is going to consist, or our ending, well, actually they are endings because it consists of both a tag ending and the Ellington ending. I don't know that anyone would actually do this, but we're going to do it right now. 3, And that last little thing I did, as you saw, that's just cueing someone. When it's rhythm, it's kind of easy for us all to just glom onto these things that we all know are coming. So you can literally put this arrangement together on the bandstand. And then, quite honestly, you probably don't have to do it again because most of the tunes that night are going to follow this basic template in some way or another. And because all of the musicians are so used to doing this, we, as I said, sometimes just a finger point or a nod, or you don't have to actually say you're going to play the head because everyone will know when that comes. Or even trading fours. Yeah, you might put up your forefinger like that to give a cue. But on a thing like an ending, these endings are so learned by the musicians that as soon as they feel, they can almost project. It's like if I were to say to you, 2 plus 2, even before I say the second 2, you kind of know what I'm going to say. And you certainly know 4 is the answer. Well, in bass 10, I think 4 is the answer. So let's try something. I'm going to fold the step-by-step up routine here, and we're going to try the whole thing from the top with me telling you where we are in the tune and basically what we're doing, and see how that works out. So here we go, right from the top. We're going to take us an introduction, and that introduction is going to be the turnaround chords with a bass pedal on 2 and 4. And I'm going to vamp that until Q. And that's what we're doing right now. 2, 3, 4. This could go on for a while. But we'll bring in the tune in 2. That was a little hit that we came to when we were putting this thing. There's the pedal and the turnaround again. Oh, might as well use it, right? Here's our hit. Drummer picked that up from me. Now we're going to swing the bridge. Pickups. And now we're swinging. We're in 4/4 feel. changes the character of things. Back in. He was ready. Did you see that? Because he didn't know I was going to bring him in or not, because I almost forgot to. But because he's a seasoned pro, he remembered that I probably would. So. Andy gets real subtle because we want to hear what this guy is going to play. And once again, the orchestration of the band changes. Orchestration just simply means what section of your group are you actually using instrumentally. Trade fours now. The last solo is for the drums. This is now in the second A section. If I were the rhythm guitar player, maybe a saxophone player would be blowing over this little section here. Now I'm going to give the bridge to the drums. And we're back to the head in 2. With a little hit that we've developed in the course of events. Turn around to the second A. Tag the ending. Instant arrangement. So what you have here is just a little bit of an illustration to maybe crisp up the edges of the mystery of how do these guys get all of that. Give me a piece of music, Lodi. Any single sheet of music will do. But how do these guys get all of that off of a sheet that usually looks something like this? You know, you've seen them, the fake book up there, and they got a few lines of music and some chords on them, and you know, and then from all of that, somehow these guys know how to treat that so that we get a long, I mean, sometimes too long, granted, but a very, very long and exploitive version of that information that's on that sheet. Well, that's how it's done. We all know these elemental, we think of them as elemental, but they're not obvious necessarily. So because of that, that's why I do these little reach out things to you and hope that those of you who weren't hip to this now kind of have a little bit clearer understanding of that's what they're doing. That's how they get all that info out of there. And then they go da 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 blur 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 all over the place. So, thank you, Andy Blochowiak, for being here with me and helping me out on this little show and tell. And we're going to wrap it up with that. Over and out.